Okay, this is a replay that I got sent a little while ago. I'm trying to catch up on some of these casts, but it's been a busy time. So without further ado, let's get into this one. This is Rail, the Terran player in the top right, versus Sven, the Svenison, the Terran player in the bottom left. So a TBT matchup for us. The map is a map I quite like. You can generally, even though it's a pretty close distance across the map, you can generally hold this position quite well. So you can get up to 2 bases very quickly indeed. With your army parked in this sort of area, it's not too bad for a third. So it's a decent enough map, but it is a reasonably short distance across the map. So there's also the potential for cheesy builds on this map too. Rail opening up with 2 depots into the barracks, and this is now a complete wall off. So any scouting that Sven tries to do, he is going to struggle. Sven is soon going to find himself supply blocked. There he is, supply blocked. This SCV isn't going to build for a while until this depot finishes building. So, you know, if you're an aspiring young scrafter, that's something worth thinking about. Don't wait until you're supply blocked to build a depot. In general, start your depot when you're 13 of 15 so that it finishes in time for this SCV to start building as soon as you can afford it to. And as a result of that supply block, you can see that he is pulling money here, unable to spend that. So, meanwhile, Rail has bumped straight up to 3 barracks. Is this going to be some sort? Oh, and a 4th barracks as well. So it looks suspiciously like we're going to see a large number of bio units, a large number of Marines come out of Rail pretty early in this game. I notice as well that he has stopped building SCVs with this mineral line. It isn't quite saturated at present, but he does have several workers building barracks. Once they get back to mining, if he remembers to do it, he will have the full complement of workers and another rack. So a 5 racks build is generally considered a pretty cheesy build, but not much point in doing it if you don't use the barracks to build Marines. So come on, Rail, get the Marines pumping out of these. You can build Marines at a furious rate out of these barracks. You can you can really crank out a significant number of units very quickly, but you've got to be pressing that A button. You've got the money to do it, you've got the supply to do it. Make sure these barracks are building. Meanwhile, it looks like Sven is sending a worker to just have a look around the map. Oh, an interesting position for a factory. Not sure what he has in mind with that, but no problems. Let's build a factory in the center of the map. Why not? At home, we can see that there is a barracks here, and he's going to be building a reactor onto that barracks by the looks of things. That will allow this barracks to build 2 units at a time. An engineering bay coming down, for Sven. Sven also had just about saturated on this mineral line, or at least will be once all of these workers that are building stuff return. So, I would imagine the incomes of these 2 players to be very, very similar. But look, no gas here for Rail, so he is going to be just going entirely for Marines. If you are doing a build like this, useful things to bear in mind: hotkey all of your barracks to the same hotkey. If you are setting a rally point for these barracks, if you click somewhere on the map and then shift click onto one of your units and then shift click another unit and another, then as you move your army around, the reinforcements will automatically come and link up with them. The reason for shift clicking several units is so that if the one that you've clicked on is killed in combat, if you'd only right clicked on one of these units as the rally point, if it's killed in combat, then that cancels the rally point. However, if you've shift clicked several of them, then if the last one of those is killed in combat, then they automatically just go to the other. So that's absolutely fine. This worker not doing anything, still no gas. Another thing to point out, really, if you are going for a build like this, don't get yourself supply blocked. And he is doing a pretty good job of avoiding that. He is going to build that supply just in time. So you need to have workers constantly building supply depots to be able to constantly pump out Marines. So this is a very, very formidable force coming. I don't think Sven has any idea that this is on its way across the map. I don't think he knows this is coming. The positioning of this factory with a reactor might give him an inkling if they come this way, but I don't think by the looks of it that the pathing's going to take them that way. In fact, it's very unlikely to. If these destructible rocks, they'd have to come around the bottom here. So they are going to be coming in this way. Sven, what will your reaction be when you see this appear? If we have a quick look at the army supply tab, we can see that it is overwhelmingly in favour of Rail. This could be bad. It is hard to see how Sven is going to hold this. These marines at the top of the map, the medevac can heal them, and that is vaguely useful. So you will get value out of those, but against this sort of number, it's just not really going to matter at all. So Rail polishing stuff off at the top of the ramp. He's going to see this barracks off pretty sharpish. He's going to see off all of these buildings. None of it really matters. Kill the command center is my tip. Don't let him fly that away to somewhere where he can hide it. Just kill it good. And then go to town. If I'm Rail at this point, I'm also leaving a handful of marines on the ramp so that he can't run any workers out to go and sneakily try and build a CC elsewhere. He is flying this starport out, but of course now that his command center is gone, he will be revealed. Oh no, he's started a second command center over here, so won't be revealed, but that in itself is telling. If your opponent isn't revealed, they have got command centers somewhere. Rail, it is definitely worth killing these workers down here. Always worth seeing off all of the workers in your opponent's base. So there we have it. This game is over, all but for the salt. Rail, my other top tip, if you are doing a build like this and you feel, oh look, I've won, don't take your finger off that production tab. You're currently not building anything and you're pulling money. Don't stop just because you've got ahead. Go right ahead and get further ahead. Do stuff, continue to do stuff, because the fact that your opponent hasn't quit, you don't know what he's up to. And here we have the counter, and there's nothing at home at all. So actually these two Hellions could take out this entire mineral line if you're not paying attention, Rail. And it looks like you're not. The workers aren't moving, they're just gonna sit there. I mean, ultimately I don't think it's gonna matter. He can let I don't know about this. Oh, it's nasty. I think they're all gonna go down, to be honest. I think they're all going to die. If you try attacking these Hellions with workers, the Hellions run, which makes the SCVs kind of line up as they chase them, and the splash damage in a straight line is brutal. There you go. All of the workers, save this one, are dead. This one, these stray ones are still alive, and still the units are rallying out of the base. As I say, it doesn't really matter. You've got an unbeatable army. So what you can do is just lift your buildings off them. The Hellions can't do anything about it, and you can just go wandering about the map to kill wherever they're coming from. So this CC has now finished. So any workers that Sven has, let's have a look. He has 2 workers. Compared to his opponent's 4 workers, really should be mining at this point. That is, the gold mineral patches there are all the feistier. You've got the orbital here, so feel free to drop mules, but to be honest, Rail doesn't really need the money. He's got an army already, so all he needs to do is find his opponent. So arguably you could use the scans from this command center and just drop scans on these mineral patches to work out where your opponent is. This SCV hiding. Okay, I'm just going to fast forward because nothing much is going to happen until one of these players, until Rail finds his opponent. So yeah, not sure where that Viking was going or what it was trying to achieve. Oh, these could get a few kills. Ooh. Yeah, not as devastating as it could have been. It could have been worse if they kept moving. But nevertheless, it dead marines. Those 2 widow mines, and this is going to end the game. So these marines will clean up the mineral line, presumably. I don't know if they can do enough damage to this CC to set it on fire before he can unload the marines and start repairing it. Doesn't look like he can, but he'll give chase. Don't worry so much about that stuff. Kill the command center. That's what you need to kill. Kill the CC. Yeah, that's it. It's all over, isn't it? It's all over. Didn't get the SCVs out, so if I look in the units tab, well, Svenison still does have this worker over at the edge of the map, but he is not being revealed, so it is only a matter of time. The players in our novice league, you know, they do like their salty endings, don't they? But there it is, GG.